You've erupted, you've crumbled time and time again, and you still find yourself wondering, why can't I find inner peace? Why do my emotions keep taking over my life? If that sounds like you, today we're going to work with the mother archetype. We're going to dig into that, your path to peace. So before we begin, I want to talk about the energies that I found when I was doing my pre-work with the cards, and also on my way in. The thumbnail has "You are the rock against which the surf crashes," and that's from Sarah J. Maas from her A Court of Silver Flames. We were talking about it a couple of readings ago. And the character is learning, in the book they call it mind stilling, but it's pretty much meditation. The character in particular had gone through a lot of trauma, didn't know how to process emotions, was having physical reactions to the trauma, And so the technique that she was learning to calm her mind had a lot to do with breath. And this was something that she would remind herself, you are the rock. And to me, that is the soul. You are the soul. You are the ever steady presence, awareness there, right? Against which the surf crashes, those emotions, those feelings, those thoughts, they crash against you, but you are immovable and as permanent as that rock, right? Now, I know in meltdowns, it doesn't feel like that. In meltdowns, it feels like, you could fly away on the breeze. But what's awakening? That, your soul. The other thing I was thinking about on the way in was cycles, and cycles of building and cycles of destruction, and how we all go through cycles in our lives where we have one that's more predominant than the other, but also just like how everything is existing at the same moment. If you look into quantum physics and quantum, mechanics and all that, past, present, future is all happening in the exact same moment. Time is experienced, but it's not linear. It's not the way we think. And that made me think that, yes, while you may have a predominant like building cycle or destruction cycle in your life, you can also have both occurring at the same time. And I am in that cycle right now where I have a building cycle and I have a destructive cycle going on at the exact same time. And the other thing, it kind of ties in with the rock thing, with like being the constant rock, and you have all the surf crashing, is your critic, your inner critic, right? So right now my inner critic is being a very critical Karen, and it's been really hard to keep her in check, but it's very easy to slip into listening to those thoughts, and that just increases the meltdowns. That increases the shame for the meltdowns, that shame cycle that we have. But when I was working with the cards, I pulled the cards out and I was taking them out of the box, and everything just fell out of the box. I'm like, oh, well, that's a meltdown if I've ever seen one. But the King of Cups, Poseidon, he's in the thumbnail, that popped out. And all the other cards just tumbled everywhere. So it was just like, oh, this tumbled mess, and kind of reminded me of like a volcano and how like the lava kind of like goes everywhere. And then when I was working with the cards more, I got Strength, the Page of Cups. And on the Page of Cups, in this deck particularly, the creator made characters that go with each of the cards. And so for the Page of Cups, I was called to the character, which is Kuan Yin. And so lots of compassion, lots of grace, lots of love for ourselves right now, right? Patience, being kind and loving and understanding of yourself, right? A meltdown doesn't define you. A meltdown is a point in time. There was also the Two of Wands, the Six of Cups, and then again with the Eight of Swords that came out, and the Nine of Pentacles came out twice. But with the Eight of Swords, it reminded me of like the whole critical Karen. I was thinking like, oh, this thing needs to calm down. Yeah. Quiet that inner voice. And with the Nine of Pentacles, I was like, yes, that's what's awakening. That stability, that self-assuredness, that trust that we have within ourselves, that we have learned that we can rely on ourselves, because we're not going to walk away. We're not going to suppress our emotions. We're going to feel them, and we're going to understand they're temporary. They're fleeting. They're going to float away on the breeze. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do some breath work real quick. If you are watching this in the replay, you can always 2x your speed, or you can click the timestamps to, skip this part. I would highly recommend it because it's great for when you're having a meltdown. If you clicked on this, it's because you've had meltdowns. So you need to regulate your nervous system, okay? So we're going to do box breathing, where you'll breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold for 4. We'll do 3 rounds of this breath. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. You ready? Let's go. I think that was 3, but I lost count because I got distracted by my mind. Surprise. What I was thinking about was, and I was actually thinking about it on the way in this morning too. I'm not in the best energy. And I was trying not to feel guilty about it and wondering if I even need to go live, right? It's like, should I even do this? Should I even go live? But I was reminded of Layla Hormozi, and she says, F your mood, follow the plan. So that's what I was thinking about. And when I was doing my breath work, that popped into my head again. F your mood, follow your plan. So somebody obviously needed to hear it. I wasn't going to share it because it was a bit more personal and I didn't want to get into me. I wanted to be here for you. But somebody needed that, so we shared it. All right. Mother. What awakens for this collective after the meltdown? For their path to peace? What is awakening? That's a lot of cards, Mother. Let's see how many it is. Okay, so maybe we'll do more cards today. I normally do 3. We have 1, 2, 3. We'll do 6 cards today. 4. 2 more, please, Mother. That one. 1 more, please. That one. Thank you. Okay. We have the 10 of Pentacles, and we have the 10 of Wands, so 1010, maybe someone's number, on the bottom of the deck. There we go. All right, the first card we got is the Queen of Wands. And oh, this is so cool. Do I have my wallet? Hold on. I think that's who it is. We're going to have to read her story because I think that is who that is. It is! Ah! Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me show you this. Whoops. I'm a hot mess today. All right, so for this Queen of Wands, I'm probably going to say her name wrong. Marie Laveau. When I went to New Orleans last year, I actually picked up, I went into a voodoo shop, and it was Marie Laveau's voodoo shop that I went into, and I got this. Isn't that so cool? And I don't have the deck here, or I would use it because, I mean, that's a sign, but it's the Shamanic Wisdom Oracle deck, I think. It's listed in the resources. If you want to go down and look, you can find it. So maybe somebody needs to check out that deck. Maybe I'll do a community post later. Hello, I can when I'm done with this reading if you want to stick around, or you can come back later. Nowhere eyes. But yeah. So I'm going to read the back of this card because it matches this. Benevolent Marie Laveau, who draws her strength from the Laos. I trust in your protecting love and strengthening power. In your kindness, give me the fortitude to confront the misfortunes I meet and the strength to overcome my weaknesses. Isn't that so awesome? Because I was talking about Kuan Yin earlier and having compassion and peace and self-love, kindness, strength. So neat. Oh, I love that. All right, the next card we got is the Lovers. followed by the Six of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, Ten of Wands, and the Empress came out again. Look at this lovely lady. Hello, darling. Okay. So let's go ahead and read this Queen of Wands to start the reading off, right? Because with this coming, like, this is too much of a winky dink for us to not check it out. Okay, here's the narrative for the Queen of Wands. They came to see her. Let me hold this up. I'll hold both of these up at the same time because I'm just so thrilled by this. They came to see her, the witch Queen Marie Laveau, in droves. She had cultivated a reputation over an unnatural span of time. No one knew her age nor where she came from. The only thing they knew about her was that she was a woman of magic. When she walked down the street, the world was divided. One half was in awe, the other in fear. With the polarizing force around her, those who loved her well, and those who feared her came to love her eventually. Naturally captivating, her eyes held the secrets to the world. Poised in her knowing, she smiled at a world taken with her beauty. Those who sought out her particular skill sets were charmed by her demeanor as they were by her work. She worked calmly and confidently with unparalleled skill. She never failed or faltered. For this reason, her reputation grew and spread throughout the community like wildfire. Soon, everyone wanted to come and meet the Marie Laveau. Feared and adored, her admirers numbered in the hundreds and comprised the most affluent individuals. It was difficult to resist her charm because when you looked into her eyes, she discerned things you didn't know and yet wanted to know desperately. I love that. Sooner or later, everyone in the region had walked through her abode. Sooner or later, she learned everyone's dirty little secrets. Dang, you're going to have that witchy power, my friends. I love that. All right, so some journal prompts to go with this card. Describe a time when you felt jealousy towards another. How do you connect with the Queen of Wands? That's a good one. How do you connect with that inner magnetism, right? How do you connect with that? What does the term visionary mean? Yeah, if she wasn't a visionary, I don't know who was. And you got to be polarizing. Got to stand for something, friends. Describe an instance in your life where you have felt a magnetic attraction. Just gonna leave that there. All right. So what awakens after the meltdown? This, right? When we have meltdowns and when we release these emotions instead of storing them in our bodies, whenever we allow ourselves to feel this truth, allow ourselves to experience the life we have. And I was talking about the voice in our heads, right? When we don't limit ourselves because of what other people have told us our life has to look like, or what we think it has to look like, or you have to do the right thing, right? Owning your truth and standing in the power of your truth. It is magnetic. It is just so big, right? And being in that power, you step into this lover's energy, right? Where you're choosing, what do you want? That's what I was just talking about. Not what do other people want. What do I want? Now, maybe these meltdowns are triggered because of the environment you're in. Maybe they're triggered because you haven't actually allowed yourself to have time for yourself, or to, with the Ten of Pentacles, maybe there is some just underlying fear. You need to work on your stability and safety, your root chakra. Whatever the reason is for these meltdowns, it could be anything in the world, right? You're being invited to own yourself, own your authenticity. Maybe you've been afraid to show yourself, but now you're going to choose. You're going to choose to love who you are, every part, the beautiful parts, the hideous parts, the parts you're proud of, the parts you're not proud of, the parts that are giving you pain right now and giving you Anxiety, right? You know, if you accept the darkest parts of yourself, no one will ever have any power over you because they can't throw it in your face. If someone says, "You're being selfish." Yes, I am being selfish right now. If someone says, "You don't care about anybody else, you're just focusing on yourself." I am focusing on myself. You may not see how I care for others, but I am focusing on myself. You don't have to argue. Be polarizing. It's okay. Be polarizing. But yeah, and when you are choosing, like the Lovers is all about choice. Make sure you're really informed, right? Yeah. But the Six of Pentacles following that. What's awakening after this meltdown, after this release, after this, you are the surf, or you are the rock against which the surf crashes. That constant, that soul, that presence, that's you. But you need, when you're making these choices, you need to evaluate with the Six of Pentacles. Is this going to be a reciprocal give and take? You know, maybe you're moving into a new career and you're looking at like, okay, are these schedules going to, are the hours for this job going to work with my schedule? Am I going to be able to have time with my family? Maybe you don't prioritize that right now. Maybe you are just worried about, or not worried. Maybe you're just focused on, growing your career and making money, and that's cool. But you still need to sit and say, okay, is this going to be reciprocal for my soul? Am I feeding my soul in this work, or is this just me focusing on an outcome? Can I enjoy the journey of building this work? I think that's another reason why meltdowns happen is we force ourselves to stay, with the Nine of Wands. We force ourselves to stay in situations we don't want to be in careers we don't want to be in, because maybe the money is good, right? Maybe the money is so good that you're like, I just can't not do this. It doesn't make sense. I would look like, everyone would call me crazy if I turned my back on this, if I lowered these wands, if I stopped protecting my income. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's like, people are going to call me crazy for throwing this relationship away. Maybe it has to do with, for some reason, I just got like church or spiritual something. Like maybe I know a lot in the South, if you change churches, that's a big deal. So maybe you're changing churches and people are, they're always going to have an opinion, and you have to be in this Nine of Wands where you're like, we're doing the best thing for our family. We're doing the best thing for us, right? Even though it's hard, even though the waves are crashing on you over and over and over and pelting you, you are the rock. You are the steadiness. You are the soul. You are the ever constant. And it doesn't matter. Maybe these emotions will erode your rock, but it takes years and years and years. The soul cannot be destroyed, guys. Now, yes, this is heavy. The Ten of Wands. I'm not going to read Digger's story because I've already read one. But what I'm being led to say here is this could be heavy because maybe it's not your weight to carry. While it can be honorable to carry people in your lives and help them and pour into them, you need to remember that's not your responsibility. And that could be why you're having these meltdowns, because you are pouring into so many other people. You are dragging people with you that you're afraid to let go of, that is bringing you down, that is slowing you down, that is causing you to explode and have a meltdown, right? But when you get into this Queen of Wands and you are completely okay with who you are, not even okay, you love who you are, and that is who you're going to be, you can rest in the truth of that, the beautiful truth of that, the softness of that, right? We can understand that, yes, today I'm at peace. Or yes, today I am feeling very emotional and I'm going to cry. Or I am angry right now. I am very, very angry. But as the Empress, that doesn't control you, right? You step back and you allow those emotions to come. You allow those emotions to be processed by this body. You are a human. You need to process your emotions, but you don't lose yourself in those emotions, right? Because you know who you are. You love who you are. You're resting in the truth of who you are, right? You are the rock against which the surf crashes. Wow. Okay. So to close out this reading, we're going to pull one card from this vagus nerve deck. This will help you regulate your nervous system. If you are having meltdowns, if you are blowing up, if you are crumbling, if you are crying, this will help you. All right. You have to put in this work, though. You can't just expect things to get better. Spirit, one card, please, for this collective on what awakens. Their path to peace, please. One card. One card, please. Legs up the wall. Gravity aids blood flow. Gravity aids blood flow from the legs to the upper body, promoting relaxation. This pose can help alleviate anxiety and tension, fostering a deep felt sense of calm. It is a great tool to use before bed. I actually saw there was a YouTube video with a girl who was talking about she lays on her bed and puts her feet up on the headboard. And it helps like reduce swelling and stuff. Sit next to a clear wall space with your hips touching it. Swing your legs up the wall, shifting your body weight to form a right angle with the wall. Adjust your position for comfort with your back flat on the floor. Rest your arms by your sides, palms facing up. Breathe deeply, focusing on your breath. Hold this pose for as long as is comfortable. It's helpful to aim for 5 minutes. When finished, bend your knees, slide your feet down the wall, and return to a seated position. That's pretty cool. Maybe you should do some visualizations also here, right? With your legs up, you can just see yourself. All the emotions you're feeling hitting your legs, all the emotions you're feeling hitting that wall. And that's okay. All right. Thank you, Spirit. I don't know. I want to read Digger. I'm getting called to read Digger. I wasn't going to. But now that I look at it, we're going to read this Ten of Wands. He was known as Digger on the battlefield. Trustworthy and dependable. He would never dream of leaving behind a fallen brother. Those around him depended on him. His kind heart and his honor placed a tremendous burden upon his shoulders. Exactly. Not only was Digger there to fight, but he was also there to retrieve any fallen warriors. He was the only one bound to such a duty. It was a tremendous responsibility to carry, a responsibility that became a burden. Nevertheless, he did not complain, nor did he question his lot in life. He simply put one foot in front of the other, right? Yes. And hoped for the best while enduring some of the worst. Hope for the best while enduring the worst. When asked where his motivation came from, he simply responded, "The war will not continue forever." What did I say? That everything was temporary and fleeting, and one day it will be over and I can return to my fields again. Yes. One day these emotional overwhelms will be gone, and it could be tomorrow. Tomorrow could be the day that you're like, oh, I'm not upset anymore. I've had my breakthrough. I found my peace, connected with my soul. It could be in a week. It could be in a month. As women, it's very cyclical, right? You can be very emotional different times of the month, and that's okay too. But remember, it won't be this way forever. It won't be like this for long. Isn't that a country song? Yeah, I think so. All right, guys. Well, sending you so much love, so much light. Remember, you're the rock. You are the rock. Okay? Always remember, on this channel, come as you are and stay as you become. Bye, friends.